And here he is, Michael Savage.
After reviewing all those items, in terms of severity, how would you classify the injuries to the defendant's head?
They were not life-threatening. They were very insignificant. They did not require any sutures to be applied to Mr. Zimmerman. So, as I will refer to them, insignificant injuries.
Irresponsible, call me unreliable.
It's good to be in talk radio in strange and weird times. And we're living in the strangest, weirdest times of my entire existence. Welcome to the Savage Nation. We're going to talk, of course, about the domestic stuff, the distraction stuff, the Zimmerman case, because everyone has drawn an opinion on it. But Obama is planning something as sure as I'm sitting here. He's requested 15,000 Russian troops on U.S. soil for upcoming disaster, and they're under the control of Big Sis, the monster who bought 2 billion bullets. There's not a word coming from the useless, gelded, impotent Republican Party. 15,000 Russian troops for an upcoming disaster? Take a look at the picture on michaelsavage.com. And here's some of the other stories, because there are other stories going on in the world. Like Egypt's about to fall after Obama orchestrated the revolution against Mubarak and installed the Muslim Brotherhood. Now the Muslim Brotherhood's being overthrown by the very people who overthrew Mubarak, and Obama has nothing to say because he put the Muslim Brotherhood in power, as he wants to do in Syria, as he's done in Libya, as he wants to do around the globe. I mean, what more has to happen? And he's enjoying a $100 million junket with the wife and kids. Not one word from the worthless communist media. Ex-Mexican official to U.S. take more illegals because they create a burden for us that we have to carry. This is from Mexico. What else? Jihadist Awlaki paid thousands for prostitutes. These are the stories on michaelsavage.com. Oh, you're shocked that another clean, pure, revolutionary Muslim was cavorting with hookers? Yeah, right. Oh, sure. Syria is jihad central. Obama toasts failed African socialist. Reporter who broke Snowden's story has his own secrets. This is a very revealing article. And this Greenwald looks like a very tainted individual. An America hater from the top to the bottom. The whole Snowden story is starting to change rapidly. Supreme Court approval rating lower than ever. You know why, don't you? Because they're just a bunch of lawyers who think that they're God. What else? Dick Durbin's Independence Day attack on new media and journalism. You know who Turban Durbin is, don't you? That's Turban Durbin. Oh, and one other point on my website. You young, foolish people who voted Democrat and thought Obama was a young guy like you, he's tricked you into paying all the costs of Obamacare. The young and healthy people in this country who are working are going to carry the burden of Obamacare on their backs. 855-407-282 is the phone number. We want to hear from you on the Zimmerman case. Now, we have the 9/11 call audio, which has not been played all day. I've watched all the other stuff. The medical examiner said that the damage to Zimmerman's cranium was not that bad. She said it was just needed a Band-Aid. Did you hear that? The Band-Aid. But you see, I'm about to break an analysis that no one yet in the media has done, as you would expect from me, being the senior member of the American media and possibly the most insightful. And I have to blow my own horn because everyone else tries to break my horn. I will tell you that I broke the case down as follows. You want to hear it or don't you want to hear it? I know your mind is made up. White people generally think Zimmerman is innocent, except for liberals who are sure he is guilty. Black people, probably to the 99th percentile, are sure Zimmerman's a murderer. So where does Michael Savage fit in? I'm an independent observer, and I call him as I see him. And I think Zimmerman committed what he's being charged with, manslaughter. He didn't intend to kill him, but he may as well have intended to kill him. Why do I say that? I'm going to tell you why. You have to listen carefully. Without you getting mad at me so fast. You're hot under the collar. The board's so hot. I was told by the board operator, David, that at the end of the show last night, at 9 o'clock at night on the West Coast, that's midnight on the East Coast, when he closed down the board for the night, after 3 hours of debating this, the minute he shut the board off and turned off all the callers, the board lit right up. That means that there was a backup around the block of people dying to call a show. And that's what's going on again now. This has got people very angry. Everyone has an opinion on the Zimmerman case. But nobody in the media, except what has told you what I'm about to tell you. Nobody. All the geniuses out there. All the geniuses who know that they know everything. I know more than they do. And I'm going to tell you what I know, and then you'll decide whether I'm right or wrong. Zimmerman was carrying a Kel-Tec semi-automatic 9mm handgun. So, big deal. It is a big deal because he had it. He had a bullet chambered in the gun, and he had the safety off. Had Zimmerman not chambered, had Zimmerman not have chambered, or had he not chambered a round prior to meeting Trayvon, and had he not taken the safety off, even if Trayvon during the altercation, even if Trayvon had tried to grab the gun away from Zimmerman, had that gun not been chambered with a round and safety off, Trayvon Martin would have had to use two hands. You can't do it with one hand. Many of you don't own guns. He would have had to let go of Zimmerman. He would have had to stop punching him. He would have had to take both hands on the gun, hold the pistol grip with one, pull the top back to chamber a round, and then he would have had to unlock the safety, during which time the mixed martial artist in training, Mr. Zimmerman, would have had a time to throw him off and pound the hell out of him. But because Zimmerman carried a loaded weapon with the safety off, Trayvon Martin is dead. Therefore, the responsibility is in the hands of Zimmerman. I don't care which side you are on. He wasn't just carrying a gun. He wasn't just a watch guy. He was hunting. He was looking. He was hoping to find someone he could shoot or intimidate with that loaded weapon, ladies and gentlemen of the savage jury. Now, I know many of you are angry at me for this, but I'm sorry in advance. I must tell you that there is one person who was dead and one person who was alive. And the person who was dead did not have a gun, and the person who was alive did have a gun. That's number one. And number two, I'll tell you something else that you don't want to hear. I can't even play this for you on the air, but I have it on tape. We did more research for you than anyone in the whole media. I've done more research than Fox News has done. We have done more research than all the people on Fox News together. We went and searched through the 9/11 call audio by Zimmerman, and we listened to it the way a CIA operative would listen to sound. And we heard the most vile, racist comment coming out of Zimmerman's mouth about Trayvon Martin that I've ever heard. I can't play it for you. I'm going to play clip 2 for you right now. Listen carefully. It's been deleted, but listen carefully.
He's running.
He's running. Which way is he running?
Down towards the other entrance of the neighborhood.
Okay. Which entrance is that he's heading towards?
The back entrance.
Are you following him?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need you to do that.
Now, did you hear the bleep sound? You heard the bleep sound. Zimmerman says the back entrance, and under his breath he can be heard saying effing, and the first word is effing. The second word begins with a C and ends with NS. I didn't make that up. It's on the 9/11 tape. And I'm afraid that the fact that he has this racist statement, made this racist statement on the 9/11 call, and that he was carrying a loaded gun with a bullet in the chamber and the safety off, you have to find this man guilty of second-degree manslaughter, is my opinion. Something's wrong with this whole story. That's only one of the stories. There are so many others which I read to you. This story is a big one, but it's nowhere near as big as Obama and Big Sis, the dictator at the Department of Homeland Security. She's a dictator. She's out of control. She's the de facto Gestapo chief in America. She is the equivalent in the DHS of Goebbels under Hitler. She's the Gestapo chief. Actually, it's Himmler. I'm sorry. Pardon me. Goebbels was the propaganda minister. She is the female Himmler of the United States of America, and she's creating her own SS. Why should the DHS have weapons? She's trying to arm the DHS. She is trying to establish a shooting range within 20 minutes of Washington, D.C., of the airport. Where did this woman get this power? And where are these schmuck Republicans when all of this is happening? It's like literally a takeover of the government by a rogue regime, and there's not one Republican worth a damn. Then Obama brings 15,000 Russian troops to America just last week, just before his African journey. And nothing, not a word from these dopes. So, yeah, you want to have the distraction and talk about Zimmerman, go ahead. You could do that. I know many of you can't even handle this. Now, where does Snowden fit into all of this? Some people see a connection. But this is for people who could do a 10,000-word puzzle. If the only puzzles you could do, let's say, are 25 pieces, please don't call the show. But if, as a child, you did puzzles that took weeks or months to put together, or better yet, you could add up 5 columns of 5 figures and multiply them within a few seconds. The phone number is 855-400-7282. It's the Savage Nation. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage